Welcome to the Our Vision Caribbean and Latino Filmmaker Podcast, hosted by Charles Aline and Dr. Christopher C. Odom. On this episode, we speak with Haitian American actor Bechir Sylvain about how to make it in Hollywood as a successful professional actor. Bechir's storied career, which includes acting for film, television, and games, includes his portrayal of the characters EJ on the TNT hit series Claws and Willie on BET's Bigger. This episode is sponsored by the Our Vision Caribbean and Latino Film Festival, which is dedicated to ensuring that Caribbean and Latino filmmakers have a voice that's heard and a wide audience to showcase their work.
So I want to welcome everyone to Our Vision Caribbean Latino Filmmaker Podcast. Today we have a great actor, great guest, Bechir Sylvain. Bechir, you want to welcome to the podcast. Man, I've been trying to get you here for a long time, and I got you today. So welcome. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hey man, very happy to be here. Anytime I get a chance to talk about my culture and represent my country, Haiti, I'm always feel welcome. I always feel love, and it's especially with everything that's going on now. It's good to just be able to be around good people and talk and just conversate and just learn with each other. I grew up in Haiti. I was born in Boston, grew up in Haiti till I was 13, went to Miami, went to school in Dallas, went back to Miami, and now I live in California. I'm an actor, full-time actor, is all I do. And yeah, I've been doing this. I've been out here in California for 14 years now. Yeah, I'm old, y'all. Don't let this fool you. I'm old, but and yeah, I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be able to do what I love, and also get to do things that represent my culture, my country, while doing this beautiful art, which is acting.
Nice. So tell us, what made you want to become an actor?
I didn't want to be an actor, to be honest with you. Haitian parents, they don't play that. It's like you were lawyer, doctor, even a dentist. They'll take a dentist before they'll take acting. So acting was never something that was I didn't think was possible, especially growing up in Haiti. I didn't even know it was something that you could pursue. I just thought it was something that was fun and entertaining, but I never knew it was like, what? You make money off of this? This is no. And so I wanted to be a lawyer like my father. So when we moved to Miami, I started taking law school and law classes and stuff. Even in middle school, I took Law 1 and Law 2 in high school. And then while I was taking debate, I took debate. I was all about law. And then one day my law teacher was like, hey man, you should take a acting class so you can have stage presence when you're on, when you're in court. And I was like, I didn't even know what a theater was. I thought it was movie theater. I was like, theater. All right, sure. So I show up to this place and everybody's wearing black and everybody's sad for some strange reason. Don't understand that. Go into this room, there's a stage, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then this teacher, Paul Avery, he gave me an assignment to do lip sing a song, and then he put me on like a couple like skits and stuff, and then he made me do a play, West Side Story. And that changed it changed my life in the sense of like, I didn't know that was cool, but I always thought it was fun. It's not until college when I went to Miami-Dade Community College first and did Moliere, I was like, oh, this is real. Because we had like a full paid audience that came in and saw us do what we did. And I just thought it was amazing to be able to capture these characters and these personas and really portray all these people. And I was just like, wow, this is really, really interesting. And then from there, I decided to really go after it, get an agent and all that stuff. And, even though my parents were just like, what are you doing? I don't know. I got the bug, and I got the bug because of Paul Avery, because he told me, my senior year when we were about to graduate, he was like, if you could do anything in your life, I'll never forget this speech. If you could do anything in your life, if you could tie your shoe, don't do that. Do not do acting. Bechir, you need to. What? So that's how I all started, man. That's how I all started. And then from there, I really took it seriously. And I feel like I take the same mentality that I do with law, what I used to do with law. I love the research of it. I love the dissecting a script and really going into it and finding out like, okay, well, how did this work? How does that work? So the tools that I've learned as a lawyer as well helped a lot.
Nice, man. I learned one thing just from what you just saying. So next time I go into court, I know the lawyers are just acting. You know, it's just
no, they're not, dude. You wish, dude. I mean, I've been to court, and sometimes I'll be like, what is wrong with him? Like, there are lawyers that are so shy that I'm just like, how are you shy? It's I think it was smart that my law teacher told me that, because it makes sense. And it's not about acting. It's more about having stage presence, being grounded of who you are, knowing, where, like, to look somebody in the eye and really have presence and be able to be confident on what you're saying than just acting. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, it allows the truth of where you are to come out with confidence. Because I personally believe that acting is the study of human behavior. You're watching people behave a certain way, and they portray these characters. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, for me, this is just my fault. And then there are people that just act and they just, lie, and that's cool. But me, the way I pursue this is more for truth. It's more like, man, I get to investigate this thing so much that I'm gonna convince you that I'm telling you that I'm experiencing this for real. It's not I'm telling you these things. I'm showing you an experience. That's why you fall in love with these actors. It's not because they could say a line great and they memorize their stuff. Anybody could do that. But it's when you're like, man, I just saw Denzel do this thing and I felt it. I went through this journey with him. I felt like he experienced it. When he's in John Q and he's looking at his kid and you're like, he's not just saying his lines, he's feeling the truth. And it's so truthful that you're just like, man, this is making me uncomfortable. And that's for me. That's for the great actors that I love. Because some people, they don't care about that sometimes. Some people are just like, man, I just do my lines. I just say it a certain way. And that's cool too. Hey, as long as you make your money, hey, do what you do. But my kind of acting, I love the truth.
Man, I totally agree with you. I mean, like Denzel, for instance, that tear in Glory, I mean, it sold me right there. You know what I'm saying? That one tear coming down the face, Glory.
Getting whipped like a slave.
You know what I'm saying? He got a tear of 200 years of slavery in that tear, bro. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean that's really cool. One question: So you get to Hollywood now. What was the first like sort of major role that you got that you said, okay, man, I got my first paycheck, Mom, Dad, I'm for real?
I mean, I've always done commercials, and that was the first. When I did my first, it was not a national, but regional. It was a regional commercial. It was a Florida lottery commercial.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And when I saw the paycheck on that's when I went, oh, this is real. Like, I could pay rent with this. This is ridiculous. Because I did theater, and theater, you get a week and all that stuff and everything. But when I got my first, and it was regional, it wasn't even national, it was a regional check, and my mom saw it too. She started changing her tone. Nice. So it was just like, oh, okay, cool. So that solidified the professional aspect of it. That's when I went, oh, you can actually do this for a living. Now, as far as for like, oh man, I want to do this for real, the first role that I did when I came out here was Love That Girl. It was a show that was on UPN. It starred Tatiana Ali, and I got to play her love interest, and I was a Haitian dude, and it was the first. It one of the first sitcoms that I've seen that introduced a Haitian brother as like love interest to and you know, it was me. I was like, oh wow. And the fact that the writer Stacey Morgan, she literally wrote that in because she met me and she was like, where you from? And you know, telling her, and she's like, oh, you speak French? And she's like, oh. And they wrote that entire character loosely based on me, you know. And I was like, wow, this is deep. And you know, at that time you just looking at it as work, but you know, the more I think of it, I'm like, man, I got to represent Haiti in a really dope way. You know what I'm saying? And I got to be, you know, Tatiana Lee love interest. Like what kid? What kid? Do you know how many people were like, I hate you. I hate you. It's like, you know, so that was a very big deal for me. That was a very, very big success moment for me where I went, oh wow, this is cool.
Yeah, I've
And
had the
so,
opportunity to direct Tatiana Ali, and she's definitely a real professional. She knows her stuff, and she can get her
Wow.
lines down in just minutes.
so where
And I
did
was so
you
nervous because
audition?
it was my first. It was my. Oh yeah,
Okay, go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
auditioned to play her. I'm sorry. I auditioned to play her brother actually.
Oh,
And yeah, so I auditioned to play her brother, and then but they really liked me, and they're like, man, you know, we don't know yet. Let's bring you back. And then they're like, well, there's a best friend, the best friend of the brother, you know. And I was like, all right, cool. And then you know, Stacey started talking to me. He's like, oh, you know, might make him Haitian and blah blah. And then she wrote the whole thing. But man, I was so nervous around her because you know it's Tatiana Ali number
Yes.
one, and and it was my first on-screen kiss.
Oh,
It was my
with
first,
Tatiana
yeah,
Ali.
yeah. And so I'm like, oh gosh. And I, you know, who doesn't have a crush? So you know, I'm like, my heart is pounding, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? And and I remember we did a rehearsal, and then I was so nervous. I was just like, and then she just like we kissed, and then I just stayed like this, and then she was like, you know, you can move your head if you because I was so nervous. I didn't want to mess it up. She was like, you know, you can move your head a little bit, you know, so it could look like. And I was like, okay. But she was cool, man. She was a true professional, incredible talent. I can't wait for one day to work with her again, man. It was cool, and she showed me so much love and support, and just, you know, it was dope. It was definitely dope. Every time I look back at those episodes, I'm like, wow, dude, it was good work. It was really good work.
When your heart was pounding, she was thinking, man, this guy is good. He's playing this like he's actually in love with me.
Either that or like, why is he sweating?
Man,
Oh,
man, I mean, like, I'm feeling that your career was so blessed coming right off out of the bat and just, you know, just coming out here, out to LA and just, you know, nailing some really good roles right off the bat. I mean, a lot of individuals don't get, I mean, they're not that blessed to, you know, to come in and work with, you know, people like Tatiana. I mean, wow. You know, I'm
and it
saying
takes,
you
you know,
were
it takes
really
time, and
blessed.
you know, and also, oh no, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that you're really blessed, man. And just to come out here, people don't have that sort of opportunity right off the bat. They struggle for so long and they get discouraged. And man, hearing you, it's like, okay, I haven't, you know, I'm not an actor, I'm a director, right? Filmmaker, producer, writer. I'm feeling, man, I want to come out to, I'm in Hollywood, but I'm saying, man, I want to go on audition for something,
Well, let me bust that bubble real quick.
Oh.
Because because the time, again, everybody sees the results, but they don't see in the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yes.
everybody see Jordan play, but they don't see the time that he put in to be Jordan. Everybody sees Stephen Curry does his shit, but they don't see the time that it took for him to get these shots down. And acting is, especially acting careers, they always say it takes 15 years to do an overnight star. You know what I'm saying? And it took that long. It took a long time. And not only that, I'm still going through, auditioning and everything. And also, like, we still got to make a living, right? And and that's what's, with the strike and everything that's happening and all that. People hear that like, oh man, this is so cool. Yeah, the opportunity and everything is cool, but we still got to pay our bills. We still got to be able to have insurance. We still got to be, work. And those that's one job. That's one job, right? Like people that have 9 to 5, you got that 9 to 5 every day.
Yes.
So this job, it's, maybe that month you work and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So whatever ducats they gave you, that's all you got until you get the next one. So you constantly looking for jobs. Like actors are constantly, that's why I did so many commercials, and man, I've did so many commercials, not even funny. And the hard work is working on your craft, working on your talent, so you could be the easy choice. You know what I'm saying? The part where I feel that I'm blessed is that I got the education that I needed to be ready enough where people could actually see my talent. Also, I got to give all my glory to God because God has blessed me with this beautiful gift. So, I've been blessed in such a beautiful way that he's allowed me to do this beautiful art. And I've took the initiative to prepare myself enough so when I am put in a position where I have to audition, I'm ready. And either you see it or you don't.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you touched on the strike. I would like to get your opinion. I mean, I know for a working actor, it's kind of hard to be on strike, because there's nothing coming in. I mean, what's your approach? How are you dealing with the strike?
It's tough, but it's necessary. Every decade, there's always something that comes up where we started with VCR, then it was DVDs, then it was streaming, and there's always these companies that don't want to pay what we deserve. And it's more about like making this sustainable for people that are busting their butt. Like for example, I'm a rare breed. The fact that I'm a rare breed of working actors and I'm not rich, you know what I'm saying? Like I pay my bills and you know what I'm saying? I'm making it, but I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the Brad Pitts and all that stuff like that. If we don't fight, people like myself will not exist. We won't be able to sustain ourselves. We won't be able to have enough money to have insurance so we can stay healthy and then have enough money to save. So if we don't get a gig in 2 months, we're not getting kicked out. There are people that are losing their jobs. I mean, losing their houses, that are moving, that are doing all types of stuff because of the strike. And people don't see that because all they see is like, oh man, you work with Tatiana Ali, you good. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. The you know what I'm saying? The business part of it is unfortunately they take advantage of us. Like one of the things that we talked about was video games, right? If you played a video game, when you buy a video game, let's just say the cheapest video game is what? $40 a pop.
No, I wish I have a
Right?
16-year-old son and it's like $60, man.
Okay, I was being nice. I was trying to be nice, but so imagine you get a session to play one of the characters in that game, right? And you're army guy number 1. And they use your voice, they scan your body and everything like that. And you're like, cool. And you get paid $2,000 for that work. And you're like, oh man, $2,000, man. All right, let's go. $60 a pop and you sell 60 million. How does that $2,000 look like right now? It's almost like, whoa. And then they're going to go, oh, we're going to reuse that same character. We're going to put it on another game and sell that. And then you go, oh, so you ain't going to pay? No, we paid you that 2,000, bro. Really? And that's what they're doing with films. This is what they're doing with, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, like, it's common sense. And we're asking percentage off a percentage. You know what I'm saying? We're not even asking for much. It's like, dude, we just want to be able to pay our insurance and pay our bills and be able to sustain this instead of us being used and abused. And now with, AI, where you're talking about, oh yeah, we could just use your likeness indefinitely and we're just going to pay you this one-time fee and you're good. And I'm like, no, that doesn't work like that. So, I'm really good.
No, I'm saying, man, I understand because the cost of living in Los Angeles, if you're living out here in Los Angeles, New York, I mean, you need to survive, I mean, the rent, I mean, in Los Angeles, the average rent for just a studio is like what, $1,100, $1,200 for a studio. I mean, that's ridiculous.
But pay me for my work.
Yep.
The reason why theater works is because you get paid every week. And then when the show closes, they don't get paid. We don't get paid. You feel me? Like that makes sense. That's why theater works the way it works. Because it's like, all right, yeah, it's not the greatest money in the world, but everybody's getting, and they get more money anyway, because I get my weekly fee and you sell tickets. And if you sell a whole lot of tickets, guess what? Your profit is banging. And maybe we might get a little bonus. You know what I'm saying? And it makes sense. So why can't we do the same thing with film? Why are you so greedy where you're like, nah, we already paid you and we're going to make, and this is just the United States. Imagine that video game in the world.
Yeah, you got your different territories.
Do you understand how much, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, nah, man. And we're just saying, hey, man, just give us a percentage of that. Not even give us half, give us this. Just give us a percentage. Nah, bro. What you talking about? That's crazy. What are you in? No, so I'm all for it, like with the horses. I actually got a bunch of people and horses and stuff. We went around Disney and did our thing and just waiting patiently, man. I hope they figure it out. I hope that it gets a better deal and we're able to do what we do.
Yeah, I mean, they got a deal for the writers. I don't see why they can sort of bring the actors in and make everything. There's enough money for everyone. It's no one is gonna. I mean, big business. The guys at the top is not really gonna lose profit if they give you guys a fair share. I mean, and I think that's all you guys are. That's all the actors are asking for is a fair share where they can live.
It's a flex. And it's a flex. And I'm not gonna lie, it discouraged me a little bit too, because it was like you don't care about what I do. You don't care about my work. You think that what we do is just nothing. And it's like, during the pandemic, everybody and their mama was watching Netflix. Everybody, and that's like kind of saved a lot of people to be able to be stuck, during COVID. I personally finished Netflix. I watched all of Netflix. And, and it was something that was helpful. So we see how helpful it is, and not only just to help us in times like this, but also to tell stories that are untold, to really connect with human beings in different ways, show them different perspective. How many movies that you could like think about that actually like change your life and go, wow, I didn't think about that. Things that deals with racism, it deals with, statism. I mean, it deals with so many things. So, for you to devalue us like that, like as if it's nothing, it's kind of like, man, come on, don't be that cruel.
Este episodio está patrocinado por el Festival de Cine Latino y Caribeño Our Vision, que se dedica a garantizar que los cineastas latinos y caribeños tengan una voz que se escuche y una amplia audiencia para mostrar su trabajo. El Festival de Cine Latino y Caribeño Our Vision es el único festival de cine latino y caribeño combinado que califica para los Oscar a los cortometrajes. Cada año, Our Vision proyectará a los ganadores de las categorías de cortometrajes en vivo en los cines en ambas costas durante una semana como parte de los requisitos para la consideración del Oscar. Haga clic en el enlace en nuestro perfil ahora para enviar su película al próximo Festival de Cine Latino y Caribeño Our Vision para compartir su trabajo, llegar a su audiencia y convertir sus sueños en realidad.
Go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
When I'm doing contracts as a producer, I call it the tithe. You know, I'm willing to take 10% of any profit that I make and chop that up and divide it up amongst the actors. 10% of the profit. If I make money, you make money. And I don't see any reason why I can't pay a tithe of my profit to the actors, especially if I'm making money. If I don't make any money, I understand. Well, you know, I didn't make any money. I don't have any additional money to pay you. But if I'm making money, I should be able to pay a tithe to the people that made me that money.
Exactly. And if you're not making money, we're not making money. So we're all good. Like, but you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, it's like, but at least we have a project. At the end, there's something there. You have something that lives forever. Whatever the story was, whatever the project was, it's out there. And who knows, 20 years from now, that same project that nobody liked, suddenly, how many times you heard about a movie, you're like, what? This was done in 1998. Why was it popular now? Who knows? But if that picks up and it starts making money, you know, give these people that busted their butt that didn't have any money that entire time some money too. Like, that's just common sense to me. But
when Orson Welles made Citizen Kane, nobody saw it. And then when the RKO library was acquired and got on TV, then everybody saw it. And suddenly they started saying he was the greatest filmmaker ever to live.
How mad is he right now in his grave? Like, he's probably like, he's like, now, y'all. I told you guys. And if I was him, I would have hunted every studio and be like, I told you.
But you know, overall, art is a reflection of the society, and I think the society needs art. You know, it helps the soul of the society, and what actors do, painters, singers, we need that as human beings. And so I think what artists do is very relevant to the society's soul. You know, so I don't see. It's not like you're doing nothing that you don't contribute to the good of society. Art is needed in our society to make us think. You know, when you go to a movie and you see something about slavery, or you see anything, well, any subject, you think. Once you go into you're going in the theater or you're watching something on television, it allows you to think, and that's the art. You know, that's the art that brings you there. So, you know, it's good to have you on here and just have these conversations. I'm really enjoying the conversations with you. But, you know, I like to talk to us about, you know, when you take a role, how you feel, what you break down, and how you approach that role.
I mean, there's a lot of methods out there in the world. For me, like I said, I love investigating. I love doing research. So number one, depending on what the story is about, you know, if it's a time period, I try to find as much information I need for that time period. If it's a person that's, you know, alive, if it's a biopic, you know, I do as much research as I can on that person. And then, you know, finding the things that I relate to personally with that character or not. And at first I start with just reading it. You know, I look at scripts like music sheet. It's all in the page. So a lot of people, especially new artists, when they always want to emote, they want to put something on it. And me, I just want to know what the music is. So I'll listen to the music. I'll read it, read the punctuations and everything like that, and then find out, okay, this is how the character, especially if it's very well written. That's how I know when something's very well written, because you'll see it. You'll see the cadence. If he's from a certain area, you could hear it. They write it that way. If he's from New York or he's from the South, you read it and you're like, wow, this is dope. And then from there, you put in your own experience or whatever you feel at that moment on it, and then and you take it from there. For me, I like to start with where I am at that moment, and then once I know the scenario, once I know the story, once I've done the research, and know all the stuff from what's going on, then I allow myself to just be in the situation, know my lines enough where if anything comes along, I could react to it instead of what's my line? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because then it becomes a truth. Once you put yourself in that environment and you know what the scenario is, and then you let go of it. I mean, I don't want to say let go because I don't want people like, oh, you told me to let go, and then I didn't know my lines. Well, that's your fault. But but me, I'm at that place now, and it took me a long time to get to that place. I'm at that place now, which is kind of cool, but at the same time scary, where I'll know my lines so well enough where I just let it go, and then I'll go on set, and man, I'm telling myself, but whatever. I'll go on set, and I'll be like, where's the set? And they'll be like, oh yeah, you're gonna be acting this way. And especially if it's like my house, man, I walk around that house. I look at everything. Because I'm like, okay, this is my house. This is how I would do. I think about the scenario if I'm having breakfast or whatever. So I go in, I look where everything is. I look where the forks are. I look where the cups are. I look where everything. I sit on the table. I hear what noise it makes. I know it sounds crazy. I look at everything, right? Because then I'm home. I know where everything is. So whatever lines you throw at me, I could move around my home anywhere I want. And usually what always happens is the director goes, whoa, I like when you moved. I'm like, yeah, because this is what I would do normally if I'm home. How many times, and start watching stuff, how many times there's a scene at somebody's home and they just sit in one place the entire time and no one touches anything. No one does anything, and it's like, is this your home? Or like it makes no sense to me. I'm like, even if yes, there's blocking and stuff like that, but even within my blocking, if you put me on a place, they're like, all right, you can't move here, and usually, and it's funny because the DP always gets me now because I'll look at the DP and the DP be like, I'm like, good, all right, good to know. So I know. So I know what is being seen. So now I could be whatever position. If we're shooting this right now, if this was my frame and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the frame you have and you're in your car. Okay, well, I know, okay, this is how much space I got. I got the wheel. I know I could lean back here. I know I could, play with something if I get nervous about something like that. Maybe I'll pick up my cord or whatever and just mess with it real quick. And they're like, oh, yeah, cool. Oh, shoot, my battery's dying. Okay, cool. I can still, yeah. I'm still having a conversation, but I'm creating action to make you feel like, oh, he's in a car. Instead of just, yeah, okay, yeah, man. All right. What? Can you believe it? And then you like,
yeah, Tyler Perry will do like 15 minutes of Medea just sitting at a table talking.
And you just go, what? How am I supposed to believe this? But I don't know. For me, again, like I said earlier in the beginning, truth is pivotal for me. I want to feel at least truthful in everything that I do. So whether if it's the environment, whether if it's the clothes, whether if it's the language, whether if it's whatever it is that brings me back to the place where I'm not pushing or pretending to say those things, I go to that. And so different script demand different things, different shows, different genres demand different aspect of how to to go at it. And I'm glad that I was able to learn so many techniques that I could switch off. Like, oh, I need Meisner here. I don't need to torture myself and get into like, I could just think about my lunch right now and I still convey that, I'm confused. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to go. I have so many tools. I got so many tools now that I could pull from that allows me to do all the work that I've done so far. Because I'm not only stuck with, I'm just going to do this. That's it. And that's the fun of it. That's the fun. That's the best part for me. Like, I'm like, man, you get to play around with this and try something. If it doesn't work, okay, well, that didn't work. Let me try something else. Man, that's the best part when I have issues and I'm trying to figure this character out. And then once I do, whoo, man, it's beautiful.
Man, that's solid. I mean, I'm learning now. You got me as a student here. Now I'm like, okay, I got some. I can direct some actors now. I can tell them, play around with this part, do this. You use your frame, as you say. Use your set surroundings to make it yours. I mean, thank you, my brother. I'm stealing your stuff.
Yeah, man. No, and it's important because a lot of times we fall into the trap of what we think these people want. Man, and y'all can say if I'm lying or not, directors. Sometimes y'all don't know what y'all want. Y'all just want to see what it is and then fix and then say, oh, I like that. Let me put that in there. Sometimes y'all know exactly what y'all want and this is what you want. But sometimes y'all just don't. And sometimes, even though y'all know what y'all want, somebody might do something that changes your mind and go, ooh, I didn't even think about that. You know what? Let's do this instead. You know what I'm saying? So telling actors to have the freedom to try things is probably one of the most important things as an actor. Because once you restrain somebody to be like, oh no, this is how I want you to do it, and I want you to say it this way, and then when you say that line, I need you to move this way. Some actors are like that. Some people, they're like, cool, I'll do it. But I'm sorry, but artists, they're gonna be like, I got an issue.
I got an actor I've worked with many times, Leslie A. Jones, and he just shows up with his own blocking. I call him the team captain, and I just let him do his thing and tell everybody what they're going to be doing in the scene, and he's all over the place. I just shoot it from the front and the back in case I cross the line of access, and I just let him go because I know Leslie's going to be ready.
Yep, and he's bringing something, and that's the thing. I feel like once you let go of your ego, especially also as actors too, because I've seen actors like that come in and it becomes an ego thing more than it is a work thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bless his soul, Peter Falk was like that. Columbo. He would come in and direct the whole thing. And everybody was like, we have a director, sir. He's right there. You know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, come on, I'm not doing that. And it's like, oh, well, you kind of have to because you weren't here in rehearsal.
Yeah, I've experienced that as well too.
So it's a collaboration, man. I love when I'm able to collaborate, and so far, man, every director that I've worked has loved working with me, and I love working with them. And I've worked with a number of them, and I've been so blessed. All of them have. We've collaborated and allowed me to do my thing at the same time following their blue sheet. You know what I'm saying? Their what's it called? Their blueprint. Their blueprint.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And when you're able to connect like that, man, it's a beautiful game because they see you and you see them and you see what they want, and they're like it's a beautiful thing when a director's like, sure, I was like, I know, and they're like, okay, cool. It's the best feeling in the world because we're almost telepathically like connecting, like, oh, I know, next take, don't worry about it, I got you. So
man, that's cool.
And also,
no, go ahead.
And one thing I will say is also like, try to learn as much as you can about all the craft. Because I'm sorry, the days of just being an actor, sorry, homie, those days are done. you just want to be an actor, go ahead and have a YouTube page or have an Instagram live. But so learn other aspects. Doesn't mean become a professional about it, but just learn the terminologies. Learn while you're on set. You know what I'm saying? Just ask questions so you could understand the lingo, because that helps a lot. You know what I'm saying? Learn, like, okay, if they're lighting me this way, okay, I gotta make sure that I'm all right. Let me see this there. Okay, that's too much light. It's okay. Okay, I'll see it right here. You know what I'm saying? Like learn these kind of things, because that helps so much. Right, directors, like, because sometimes you'll have that free artist and he's like, and he's all over the place, and you're like, your performance is great, man, but you keep going in and out of the light.
And the camera.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, we know, Chris and myself as independent filmmakers, we had to be cook, bottle washer, cameraman, director. We had to be everything on the set. We had to learn everything because no one was going to give us anything. So we had to take it, basically. And I appreciate what you're saying, man, because that makes a ton of sense. You can't just be an actor. So on that note, tell us about like a project. Tell us about your own project. Like, I think it was called Writers Strike or something like that. Help me out there. One. You did a short, right? And tell me how you put that whole together as a filmmaker now.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing stuff way back in 2010. I did a web series called Make It Happen with my buddy Shion McKinney and Jason Kelly, and we I've shot a couple stuff like that, and the writers thing was it was for the strike, actually, because I was hearing all this stuff, and when they first came out and was like, we don't need y'all, and if y'all, we'll wait till you guys starve, and when they were throwing hands, I was like, oh, y'all are just being mean. And so I wanted to do something to explain to folks that don't know the industry how important writers are. And me personally, I feel like nothing happens until it's on the page. So the idea was, you have a writer, he's in his house and he's about to write, and the first word he puts is, INT, interior. And the moment you see interior, boof, you got jobs. Interior, that means you got a set designer, you got a lighting person, you know what I'm saying? Like, automatically that starts with there. And then he's like, cop, blah, 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 boom, actor, costume. You know what I'm saying? And these things keep popping up in front of him every time he writes a line. And then at the end, he erases all of it. Boom, they all disappeared. And it says it starts from writer's strike. It starts with the page. Done. You know what I'm saying? And it was my way of just giving that message so people understand, like, nah, it's not just, y'all understand how important it is, how many jobs are made because of a writer. If not, then what are we doing?
I always remember a story someone told me. It was a writer, very we were having this discussion, directors versus writers, right? And supposedly there's a story, I don't know how true it is. Some writer back in the 40s or 50s, he gave the director a blank page and said, direct this. So I mean it starts with the writer.
It starts with the writers, man. You got to have the idea, and you have to have somebody that have the structure in the mind to be able to, and then, the director brings that to life and the actors bring the words to life. All of it. It's such an ensemble thing. And the fact that they're trying to take away the ensemble and make it just a machine is ridiculous. It's like, come on, y'all. Like we know how this works, and we see when we do it correctly how beautiful it works and how far you could take it. So why are they trying to ruin that? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, in the beginning was the word, and then the director interpreted the word, and the actor performed the word. Oh, exactly. You don't hear me.
that is
funny.
really cool. I want to touch on something really, profound. Like we're talking about just going back to Haiti for a second, right? Because I know you love Haiti, you love everything about Haiti, and you want your fellow countrymen to be represented in the right frame. How is it? How do you feel as a Haitian American representing the Haitian community? And like in terms of the roles that you do you feel that you have to have a specific type of role because I'm a Haitian American, I want to represent as best as possible?
At first, I was just like, he's got to be Haitian. He's got to be Haitian. He's got to speak Creole. He's got to do all this stuff. He's got to be Haitian. And that was my thing for a long time until I was like, wait a minute, I am Haitian. What am I stressing? I'm representing it just by being in it. Like, it took me a minute. You understand? They fight. Oh,
I understand.
Why can't he speak? What can he? I'm like, wait, automatically he's Haitian, bro, because you're Haitian, so you're good. But it's super important, man. It's super important because my whole, growing up, man, watching TV and never thinking that this is a possibility, and also never seen us, period. Our story is so unique. We all talk about, first Black Republic and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but no one has seen it. No one knows about it. Everybody hears about it, but there's no movie, nothing. There's a 1, 2 Saint-Louverture, but there needs more. And nobody knows it. Nobody saw it. Very few people saw it. And it's sad because I'm like, and also it's just representation, period. We live in a globe where we got all types of people. And I think now it's time for us, especially we're neighbors, and we've influenced the world in so many ways, not only back in 1804, but in so many other things that people don't even know about, that I'm like, yeah, it's super important to be represented and to get to that mentality where, just being yourself is enough as well too. That was a humbling moment for me, because I was just like, man, I'm a believer, and sometimes our wants are way, we're so quick to want these things and not understanding the bigger picture. And it's I did this show on Netflix called Black Summer, and it's a really dope show. And that's probably the one show that globally people might be like, oh my God, it's Broadway. But but that, the fact that I'm Haitian and I played that role, you know what I'm saying? Instead of me being Dessalines, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you still doing the work, and it's okay. And understand that, yes, I want to be able to play all these Haitian characters and all that stuff, but also understand God's plan as well too. And he's already made the plan by making me from there. So, and I'm saying this to myself now, it's like, I'm glad that I'm being patient enough now where I'm going, cool, I'm going to represent my country. And I've been so blessed. BMF is coming up and I get to play a Haitian gangster on that. And I'm like, and it's crazy. I didn't ask for it. It was just the right time and being patient, all the stuff that I wanted to represent. There's a movie that I did called Life After Beth with John C. Reilly. And the character just happened to be Haitian. I was just like, this is okay. When I quiet my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, when I got calm and really allow myself to just be, it's when, the blessings started coming as far as representation. But we're representing humanity. And how awesome is it that we're from so many different places and we get to showcase that brings us more together. How many times we've seen a story, an immigrant story, and we're like boo-hooing and we relate to it so much and we don't even understand what the word is being said, but we connect to it because we're all human beings. And I think that's what the art is supposed to do, especially when you have representation. If it's the same people all the time and you're not showing language, you're not showing color, you're not showing different types of people, then you're really trying to push an agenda. But if you're really about the evolution of art and you want to show the world, or you want to show an aspect of the world, or you really want to show a progress of the world, you got to start showing the world. You can't just keep showing the same thing over and over again, because then it looks suspect. It's just me.
Well, I do watch Netflix, and I did see all of Black Summer, and your performance on those 2 episodes was definitely the most memorable of the season.
Oh, thank you, man. That means a lot, man. You saw the Denzel? You saw that?
Yeah.
We're having a Denzel moment.
No, it's one of my I'm very proud of it. And I got to do it with one of my best friends. We came up together. Me and Justin came up together. We took acting classes. Yeah. That's why I was so comfortable.
Yeah, you guys had
so
chemistry.
Because, he got this show. He got the show in the first season and everything, and then second season he hit me up and we did all the acting classes together. He's at the actor studio with me and everything. And then one day he called me up and he's like, "Bechir, man, second season, they're asking me who I want to work with. Who do you think?" And me, I'm like, "Oh man, dude, ask them for, such and such," or you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like stars, right? I was like, "Man, if I was in your position, bro, I would have." And he was like, "It's you, dummy." And I was like, oh. So I had to audition. And he's like, "But you're gonna have to audition, put yourself on tape." And so what I did was I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna put myself on tape, but let you be the other person behind the camera so they can start hearing." And then from there on, the producers liked it, directors liked it, and then I was in, man. And so it truly was a big opportunity. And not only that, it was so much fun. And man, talk about freedom, talk about director collaboration, and just sitting there, and we did it during COVID. So we were one of the 3 shows that were shooting during COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. And Calgary and the cold. Well, and it was September, but it was still cold because it's Calgary. I call it the North Pole because it shouldn't be that cold in September. But,
shout out to Canada.
For real. And we were supposed to do it in dead winter. We started in January during, right before COVID was going to hit. And then I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. It was -30.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to do all these outside scenes in -30. I was trying to walk around practicing to talk because I was so cold. I literally would have had to slowly, I layer up, slowly take out layers and say my lines just so I could get used to, because I was like, so yeah.
Man, that is so cool. That is so cool for you to share that experience with us. Having your friend, somebody that you came up with, just working and you just loving the part. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's what I talk about being blessed with, man. I mean, that's shared blessings right there. To work with somebody you came up with, and that's pretty cool. I mean, I want to touch on something a little personal to you. Just to sort of give the audience a full picture of the man. I mean, because you're so much more than what people see of you. And I want to talk a little bit about the, Brown Sugar Rehab project that it's a nonprofit organization, correct?
It was a nonprofit organization that my wife, my late wife, started. She passed away through colon cancer in 2018. It's a disease that attacks, African American people. It's a silent killer. There's no symptoms really. You get fatigue, you lose weight. Who doesn't want to do that? So you never feel anything until it's too late. And all it takes is just a small test to see if you need to do a colonoscopy. A lot of people are like, colonoscopy, you got to do it. No, you need to first find out if it's in your history, if your family history. Then you get a fit kit, and basically they swab, they use specimen and find out if there's blood in your stool. That's another symptoms. If there's blood in your stool or any kind of irregularities in your bowels, then they go, okay, cool, we might have to administrate a colonoscopy. If you're 45, go get that done ASAP. Because what happens is that in colon cancer, you have polyps, basically like pimples that are not normal, but they come up once in a while. And some of them could be cancerous and some of them don't. So you don't know. And so they pop up and they have to remove them. So, you're not supposed to have these polyps, but if you do, you don't know which one is cancerous, which one is not. That's why you have to have a colonoscopy, to have somebody go in there and remove them. Colon cancer is the only cancer that I know of that procedure not only checks but also cures it, in a sense. It's not cure in the sense of you have it, but it gets rid of it. It's preventable. It prevents it from you having it. So it's kind of like a no-brainer. Shannon, still to this day, I mean, she's my wife. She's the love of my life. And probably the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. And also the hardest thing that I ever had to do in my life. The amount of growth that I got as a man of God, I owe it all to her, because I had to live out my vows. I'm lucky and unlucky. I got lucky to live out my vows to the fullest. And I'm unlucky because I got to live out my vows to the fullest. And it's a double-edged sword, but there's a greater blessing and a greater mission. There's a reason why it happened the way it did. And when she started this company, man, she did it while she was sick, man. She was just like, once we got hit by that, I didn't know anything. All this information that I just told you, didn't know a darn thing about colon cancer whatsoever. I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what is that? Colon, what? I didn't even know what a colon was. Like, nothing. Both of us, we were just hit like deer headlights, and we had to learn all of that. And she was like, man, and luckily enough, both of us had insurance, so we had good doctors and stuff, and they took us through this process. And we were and she was more like, wow, man, if we didn't know, imagine the folks that don't know at all, and that don't have the opportunity to have the insurance that we have, how do they deal with it? So she took it upon herself to be like, we need to educate our people about this cancer. And so she created Brown Sugar Rehab to not only educate folks, but also create like funds, so people that can't afford the colonoscopy, because I think it's about like $3,000 or something like that, and don't have insurance and can't afford it, you will be able to like give them the funds to be able to do it. If you're 45 and you have insurance, it's covered. If you're under, and she was 34 and she was diagnosed. And that's the thing too. They were finding out more and more and more that younger people are getting it. And so it's something that I'm like, at least get the fit kit. You can even get it for free. There's so many places that literally give out free kits where you could just swab, send it through the mail. You could go to the doctor, ask for a kit to see if you could do it, just to check, and if they're like, oh, you don't need it, tell them it runs in your family. They don't know. Like, just tell them like, hey, it runs in my family. I just want a fit kit. I just want to just see if I should look into something. Because you never, ever, ever know. So her doing that was incredible. And then she met up with the Colon Cancer Alliance, who is, I think they're probably one of the number one organization that are really fighting this disease. There's other organizations too, as Black Health as well too, and so many other ones. But I think they're the number one. And it's because they've had campaigns and they're still fighting campaigns. I'm a consultant once in a while, and I come in and as a volunteer, and I'll say my piece and talk about certain projects that come up, and help them out to navigate the narrative to be able to connect to the Black community. So that's really dope. And so I wanted them to merge with Brown Sugar Rehab, so there could be a whole initiative for African American through her program. The people that work with her, they all at Colon Cancer now, Colon Cancer Alliance, and I'm over there now too, and we're just pushing her agenda. And I use her story our story all the time to bring awareness and help as many people as possible.
Man, much respect. Thank you for sharing that story with the audience. And, you know, I just wanted to let everyone know the full aspect of you as a man, you know, and just to get your your stuff out there. We're coming close to like wrapping our show up, and I want to know, like, do you have any words of inspiration for like aspiring actors? And I mean, I usually ask this towards the end, you know, to give a little how you see the world, you know, folks coming up. What your advice would be?
It's gonna sound extremely cheesy, but I feel like, especially now with everything that's going on in the world, make sure your faith is strong. I think faith is extremely important in any kind of industry that you decide to go to, because you got to believe. Yeah, straighten up your belief as far as what can be done and who you're really working for, because it's easy to fall into the trap of self, and selfies, self. But once we serve something that is bigger than us, it's easier to have a pattern or a path to go to. And when we do get lost, we have an anchor to look at and go, okay, I forgot. That's right. I'm doing this for this. And educate yourself. Once you get the whole faith thing down, and you won't, because it's a forever thing. You're not going to get to it. You just have to practice it, just like you work out every day. Then it's like, really, if you're serious about this, learn the craft. I know it's hard when you're watching TV and you're like, man, this dude just, man, I could do what he does. Man, he just did. Man, I could do that. Like, it's so easy, but know that their job is to make it look easy. It's their job.
Nice.
The same way Seth Curry shoots these threes. You're like, man, let me go outside real quick and see if I can make these 5 threes in a row. It's almost video game. Like, it's impossible. But my point is, they make it look easy. So get yourself ready. Like practice as much as you can, and just don't sit and talk about it. Do it. Do the most simplest things. You really want to start about acting, feel like, man, I know Bechir says there's no such thing as just only acting, but I really just want to act. Okay, then start acting. Start reading scripts. Start doing monologues for yourself. Record it in your phone and just record it and put it out there and see what's out there for you as far as like material that gravitate to you, so you can start knowing what type of actor you are. Don't treat this thing as just a general thing. You know what I'm saying? Start thinking about what type you are, so you could serve. I'm sorry, gotta be a preacher. Serve God the correct way. You gotta serve God in the correct way. So don't fall into the trap of falling into the glamour and all that. And I just want to be an actor and become famous. What type of actor do you want? Do you want someone that's gonna make a difference? And you necessarily doesn't mean that you will make a difference in some way. Making a difference doesn't mean being rich and being popular and all that. It sounds to me is more of a headache than anything. Making a difference really is when you do that play and there's 3 people in the audience, and that one person comes up to you and says, hey man, I was going to commit suicide, but I saw this play and it changed my life.
That's what it's all about.
That's why you do it. All the other stuff, good luck, bro. Like, it looks like trouble. You know what I'm saying? But, get to the point where that's what you want to go for. You want to love it. If you don't love it, walk away from it. Just like my teacher said, if you could tie your shoe, go do that for the rest of your life. But if you don't love this, get out. So love it. And the last thing I'll say is, be humble and be open for collaboration. Everybody's here for one goal, is to make this thing that you're creating good. So when you bump heads, just take a pause for a minute. Why would that person want to sabotage their own project? If you don't get along with a director, why do you you just take a minute, be like, oh man, he's doing this. He's trying to, is he really? Is he wants this project to be bad? Is he really? You feel me? Or maybe he does. Maybe he's like, you know what? I need to take this one because my next contract's better. I don't know. But at the end of the day, make sure you are humble enough and open for collaboration and just do your best. And that's all you could do.
Man, that's some good advice. I really appreciate that. I truly appreciate it. Let me ask you, what's next for Bechir?
Man, whatever that strike is over, I'm waiting to find out myself. But what's next for me is writing my own stuff. I've always written my own stuff, and I think this is confirmation for me to really start going back to my old ways of making my own way and telling the stories that I want to tell, and hopefully get to the point where I could get the funding to do it. I always use that as an excuse, but now I'm like, man, I got no excuse. We got too many talented people that want to work. You got too many technologies that's accessible to you to not want to tell the story. So what's next is, trying to get these 3 projects out. One of them is all of them are in the works. They're just in the process of being seen and fixing this and fixing that, and either hiring a writer or not, and all that. But as far as stuff that's coming up, I got a show on BET called DR from Detroit that's coming out on BET Plus or BET, I don't know, whichever one. And then BMF, I'm going to be on that as well too for the season 3. Recurring on that. I recur on both of those, and then in commercials, just once in a while you'll see a commercial and be like, oh, there he goes, because that's all we could do right now. So that's all we could do right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And me riding more horses. That's one thing. Anybody out there wants me to be in a Western, man, I'm beyond ready. Beyond.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Bechir, I want to thank you for coming on the show, man. This was really a pleasure. I've been doing this for a while now. This has been really a pleasure. This has been really great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bechir. It's been real.
All right, my brother.
Absolutely, man.
Have a good day, and I'll see you guys. All right, then. Peace out.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Click the link in our profile now to submit your film to the next Our Vision Caribbean and Latino Film Festival to share your work, reach your audience, and turn your dreams into reality.